Good morning, everybody. This is Simon with toughtrader.com. Before we get started on this morning's trade review, really quickly, past performance is not indicative of future results, right? This is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing my trade plan with you in hopes it'll make you a better trader, right? My trade plan is not for everybody, right? I'm a short-term leverage trader looking for specific setups through the course of the day. I am not trying to be everything to everyone, and I'm not trying to capture every move the market makes. Very, very important, right? Please make sure you have a risk management system in place. If you're consistently losing, my suggestion is you stop trading, go back to paper trading till you get it right, and you work hard for your money. Keep it. The goal is to make the money, not lose the money, right? So let's jump right into it for the day. Yesterday was a really, really good day, and I would expect that we could get a repeat of that today. So a couple of things. First of all, buyers are in overall control, right? No need to stress about whether we're going to crash or not. We generally don't go straight up only to crash straight down. We could, just doesn't happen very often. Betting on it is a low risk probability. So let's pull everything up and kind of get started from there. Hold on one second. Go over here. And I do want to get my market preview recording going. So let's do that really quick. This will be easy. Forward. Let's get this screen recorded through the course of the day. There we go. Spread this out so I'll have the trades as they set up. And solve that problem. Okay, and see what else we have to figure out here really quick. This is the algo for 5/10/2018. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This is the ES trade review. So let's start on ES and we will work our way from there. What I want to focus on is primarily the setups that the algo provided yesterday. Need to get my, let's see. Interesting. Okay. I need to send one message to one of my partners. 1 second. Okay, and one other thing, let me make sure my other trading dome is up. And I will have everything ready to roll here in 1 second. What is going on with this? Okay, I think we're in business. So just to kind of go through, let's start with ES, and then we'll work our way through this. Why is this locked? This is not what I'm showing right now. That is no bueno. Let's try this again here. This is locked, and it shouldn't be. Let's see if this is working. And it's not. That's the problem. Okay, we're going to have to start this over. So let's do this. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second here. We'll have this up and running. Small technical issue. Join me. There we go. Okay, you want to make it 2 times. Close window. Okay, we'll do this as well on this end. There we go. Start. And there we go on that end. And this one. Oh, we can see my other computer. There we are. Okay. That is ES. So the first thing I want to point out to everybody, I'm going to kind of just draw up this chart, okay? And I think this will help everyone understand what's going on in terms of, let me get this dome set up. Okay, so we have a double, number one thing that's most important to me when looking at this profile, okay? I have a double distribution here on this profile. Double distributions, the second distribution, the one furthest away, provides usually, it's hard to pinpoint it, right? But usually out of this area, I will get a large counter rotation back up. So two things about this. Number one, I am not bearish until I get underneath this and show that I can't get back above. What would determine that I've gotten beneath this and can't get back above? A impulse move down with some type of attempted backside test, and then algo setup or something showing me a short for a pushback where to 26.63. I would expect. Okay, so number one, there's not much to repair in this profile, but what there is to repair is right there between 26.65 and 26.63. You might want to include the volume point of control in there, but that's support right now. And if you look where we're trading 27.03 to 26.63, it's not inconceivable that we can make it down there. But given the VIX has dropped below 14 and we have a lower range, lower volatility, it's pretty inconceivable that we can make it there. We would be lucky even if we had a down day from 27.03. You subtract 30 points from 27.03, that puts you at 27.70. Right? And really 20 to 25 points is probably going to do it, which realistically puts you in this 26.80 to 26.76 area. So to be clear, I think we find responsive buyers somewhere in this neighborhood. If I can only have one place to choose to buy, that's it. So what you'll notice that's distinctive on this particular profile is that we have an anomaly stuck right in the middle, very poorly auctioned above and below. Usually those anomalies will end up acting as support. Let me see if I can find a quick picture of something that looks similar to that. And that would be like, so here we go. So see this right here? See this on this day where we have a large, poorly auctioned area here, right? And we have an anomaly right in the middle. It's a little bit different because we're coming in underneath. But if you look at that particular trade, see how we opened up, right? So you know we rejected. This is a 30-minute bar. You know we rejected because we opened up in a period, right? Pushed up and then pushed all the way down. That orange letter is where we opened. So I know we rejected out of this area, right? And then you'll see we impulse moved up. You see that? Where? To the next anomaly, rejected and came and backside tested this anomaly, and then we auctioned up. That's a normal auction process. See that? So I can use that as a lesson and go, hey, what's likely to happen? What's likely to happen if I get in here? So now I can take the exact same picture, right? And go, hey, we're likely to go like this. And even if we break down here, right, we're likely to come back here, and then we'll figure out whether we reject lower or we recapture and push back up, right? So I know that's going to be a pivotal area. So those are the two main areas I'm looking to trade out of. Now, there's a volume point of control and a TPO point of control at 26.96 to 26.95, roughly, right? At 26.96 to 26.95, it's okay. There's not much of a stretch from 27.03 into that area. My guess is because we have so much, because we have so many buyers and overall control in that area, my guess is, yes, we end up landing right in this area at 26.96, and then we end up finding some responsive buyers. Why? Because we're so bullish, right? That's pretty much the lay of the land. So what's above us? Let's go look. I'm not even going to worry about throwing up Globex high. If you need it, everyone has a trading dome. You can see where it's at, right? I'll put it in there in just a second. Oil, I do not know if oil is still running like a banshee, but we will take a look real quick. Because, of course, wow, I'm starting to hate, I think it's time for a new phone. I'm starting to hate my iPhone. Only because it just does not operate as smoothly as I wanted it to one time. And I don't know if I have just too much crap on here or if I just need to do a hard reboot. Okay, so oil is flat, 71.15. That is not the same as it running. Oil dropping a bit on a CPI miss. Okay, cool. So what's above? That's clear. Well, to me, immediately looking at this chart, what I'm looking at is this TPO point of control, 27.13 to 27.14.75. Globex high is 27.06. Guess where I'm looking for a potential short? 27.13 to 27.14. There's an anomaly here. And what I'd really like to see is it actually overshoot it, get back underneath, backside test, and push down. That's what I'm looking for there. There's really nothing else here to lean off of. We came up to 27.08 overnight. That's right here. That's Globex high, or Globex high, 27.08. See that right there? And what is that? That's just overall where we had our last piece of big volume, big time spent. It was a balanced day. My guess is we creep and crawl right up to 27.13 to 27.14. What changes my mind to bearish, right? So this is important. Everyone's like, can't keep running. Well, of course it can. It can do whatever the hell it wants. It's the market, right? So what would change my mind, right, is first of all, even though I think this is support, if we look at yesterday's mid of the 50-60, which is, I'm going to eyeball this, 2,700 to 2,770, 30 points, 15 points down, 26.85, getting underneath here probably brings us with a pretty hard draft down into this area where we find responsive buyers, right? So I'm really not bearish. I have to get below 26.95 to be bearish, number one. Okay, or I have to extend up to 27.14 to consider the short side of the trade, right? And I don't expect it necessarily to be easy here. And you have to think either the top, yesterday's high getting retested, or the settle price getting retested. You got to think that there's going to be people wanting to buy just because, just like people who were like, oh my gosh, it's short, I got to keep shorting. People are going to think, oh my gosh, it's long now because it's obviously going straight up and everything, happy days are here again. There's no more downside. People are just ridiculous, right? So it's a two-sided market. I've been bullish for probably overall the last 3 days, and now I'm back more to neutral. I know I've got to get underneath. So remember my base structure. So I'm going to go back and show this real quick while I erase this. And when I go back and look to the left, right, let's look at this right here and just say you're an emotional trader, right? And you go, so we're going to bring this all in so everyone can see it. Right? And you're going to go, so looking at it from right here, right? So that's what you're looking at, right? And you're going to go, oh my gosh, look at that chart. Value keeps shifting up. We keep closing near the mid to the high of the day. There's no downside rotation. You're thinking, oh my gosh, it's going straight up, right? And you want to short this. But let's say you decide here that the market is short, right? You get bone crushed, right? What do you want to see? You want to see impulse move below value is what you want to see. So if you look the next day, right? So coming over here to the right, I look, and the first thing I'm going to notice is I gapped below prior day's value. I now have overhead resistance. And where am I going to come to? I'm going to come test key areas below, and I'm going to have to get below this level to really accelerate to the downside. Right now, look how each of the days gets handled from there. Test down, right? Now notice we're underneath resistance. See that? See how clear that was? We came down, backside tested. We attempt back above, right? Attempt back above, right? You know what this is? This is a 50-60 back from this swing high, right? And down we eventually roll, and we keep doing these series of ups and downs, and then it goes back up. What is the market doing? Everyone who's getting bullish up here is getting smoked. Everyone who's getting bearish down here is getting smoked, right? So remember what this picture looks like. Take a picture of it in your mind's eye. Hold on to it. See that right there? Looks like it's going to the moon. How can it come back down? This looks great. We're rallying, right? Now take a look at our current picture, right? I'll spread it out a little bit for you. Everyone on Twitterville was everyone was bearish. I was having to fight people in my own room in here, right, over shorts, right? And if you aggressively shorted, now everyone thinks it looks fantastico, right? Look how it keeps going up. I want to get underneath the value area to push down. And that means two things. First of all, I have to get past this anomaly here in number one. I have to get underneath this. And then I have to get underneath this. And this is double distribution. I already know that's going to act as support today. So the odds of us just coming and having a long liquidation without any news or any event occurring is it's low, right? I'm not betting on it, right? What I'd bet on is the day after what was a pseudo trend day up, balance. That's what I would bet on. Why? Because, why is this important? I want to go back to it for a second. This is important because if you can't anticipate what kind of day you're going to have, right, you're going to keep trying to get breakouts on, you're going to try to get breakouts on balance days, and you're going to try to get balance on breakout days, and it's going to cost you a lot of money because the setups are different, okay? So if you go back and look carefully, right, most days, okay, so some days are double trend days up, right, where we opened up, and if you look at this day, this was a V-shaped day. It wasn't a trend day up. This was V-shaped. It turned into trend in the afternoon. This was trend, right? 2 days of balance, building energy. This is trend. Guess what you're likely to find after trend? And we can go all the way through this. It happens over and over again. Trend day down. Balance with an upside bias. Everyone who got bearish here got smoked here, right? Trend day up. Oh, it's going to rip again today. Nope. Balance. You got stopped and lost a lot of money. Oh, balance, we're going to balance again. Nope, trend day down. We built energy, we pushed lower. This is what the market does. Trend day down. Oh, we're going to continue lower. Nope, we're going to have balance the next day. It keeps switching, right? Which is why inexperienced traders keep pulling their hair out because they keep going, well, I don't understand. One day it trends, one day it balances. On balance days, if you short the edges, you make a lot of money. On trend days up, you short the edges, you get ripped. Right. So having some idea of what a balance day and what a trend day looks like coming into the day is important. My guess is we end up with some variation on balance today, not crash, not trend day down, not trend day up, balance. And the logical areas above are 2759, 2731, and 2714 if you need rough areas without going into detail on the chart. Okay. So now I want to go into specifics, what set up our trades yesterday. And I have one rule, by the way, when we're trading, guys. Everyone is welcome to their opinion and their bias in the market. I have no objection. But unless I know you pretty well, right, or I've been coaching you one-on-one, so on and so forth, my bias is the bias the room is trading with. If you have a different bias, meaning we get up to an edge and you think the market's going to go straight up and I'm shorting, I'm totally cool with your opinion. Please don't share it with me. You are screwing my mind, and I'm putting on a lot of contract size, and I have a lot on the line, right? I don't make my living from running the room. I make my living from my trading. I'm confident in my read, okay? So your read is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Your read is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you having an opinion. There's nothing wrong with you thinking I'm insane for shorting at highs. There's nothing thinking I'm insane for going long at lows, right? But we cannot, either one of us, meaning usually it's one person against, we're sharing ideas. We cannot afford, either one of us, to have our opinions challenged when we have so much on the line. Everyone's under pressure because everyone's trying to take their money, no matter what size of money you have, and make it more money, right? And you have to have confidence to be able to do that, okay? So there's no point in us debating during market hours. Also, if you have a general question about why I'm making a call, write it down, and when it slows down, if there's time, I'll answer it. If not, for those that I coach one-on-one, I'll answer it, or I'll answer it after market hours or during a trade review. Okay, but let's not get into debates. If you have something important to note, like, Simon, did you notice there's an anomaly here? And I'll go, oh, I didn't see that. I need to reconsider the way I'm thinking, right? Versus a broad call of, I think the market's going to 2,600 from 2,700, totally useless on our time frame. Right. So also today in the room, I will start to introduce on a paper trading basis options calls, intraday options trades with the help of Clint is going to be helping me actually set those trades up. Peter, you're welcome to put in your 2 cents on that as well. But Clint and I are going to be setting up some paper trades using spider calls, okay, intraday. And I just want to see what the P&L, if the P&L is what I already think it is from key locations. And I will set those trades up. We will paper trade those until we have a track record that confirms that we can do both the futures and the options simultaneously. And then I'll roll to actually taking those trades. Hold on a second, I gotta see something. I wonder if, got it. I see what the problem is. Hold on one second, guys. I got to set up a DOM here real quick that's off. X. Okay, connect. Hold on, password. We are open. For those who are new in the room, I don't trade the first 30 minutes most days. I certainly don't see a reason to. Or get rid of this. There we go. I want this on this side. Okay, so I want to go over yesterday's trade setup so everyone sees it really quick using the algo. Okay, so we already have the chart, right? You see the chart. Every member gets a copy of this chart. I posted up in the room. I'll go ahead and throw on. I don't care about catching the open drive lower, the open drive higher. I care about consistency in my execution. Really? What the heck? Let's close this. And let's do this. Where in the world we are trading at 27.05? Why isn't this just popping right up? There we are. Let's bring this in a little bit. There we are. Insert, symbol, tick, plot. Let's lower down NQ. It's not our main focus. MQ is obviously gap. So some of the basic questions we're asking is, can we get gap fill? Can we get half gap, et cetera, et cetera. We're above the top of the open window. The open gap at 27.10 is a pretty natural target above, right? So this is important for my NQ traders. The profile from 321 is repaired at 69.2150. I want to make it clear what the pattern I'm looking for. What I would expect is kind of rejection here, push back down, right? That's usually if I was going to guess, that's usually the PA I usually get. But what I really want is for it to get established above like this, get back below, then on the backside test, look for a short back in. Where am I looking for a short? To test this, and maybe re-auction this later in the afternoon would be my guess, as opposed to coming back in the morning and checking this. And then my guess is after we re-auction either half or all of this, I'll push back up and we end up in balance. My guess is we close somewhere in here, just because that's usually what the market ends up doing, right? So not a hard guess on that one. So let's go through and look at the algo really quick. I want to make sure I have this. There we go. And I just want to draw something out here real quick. I expect this area. And then I want to end cap that to make sure I have this up on my radar. Again, I'm looking for the auction to be complete here. And then I'm looking for the auction to be completed in this area for a response back up if it really gets sloppy. And then upstairs, I already know where my areas are. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And let's review the basics of what we're looking for on the algo. Okay, so for those of you who are uninitiated, what this is showing me, and the reason why it's valuable, is it's taking this information. I'm going to lower this. Okay, so it's taking this information, which to most traders who are uninitiated is confusing as heck, is what I found out. To me, it's pretty natural, but again, I've been doing it for a long time. I understand what it means. But most people look at that and they're like, Simon, what the heck is that, right? And how can I make a trading decision while I'm trying to add up everything? So this was the first iteration, and this was telling me when I was getting location. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Randy. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go back to do that real quick. What this is, okay, is a summation and a summary of this chart and this, not this chart, this chart, and I have one other chart hiding in here. Let's see where it is. There we go. It's this chart. There we are. It's this chart, okay? And it's showing me a summary of this information, right? So this is a summation of all the buys and sells, who's on the buy side and who's on the sell side, and where the responsive buyers are coming from, et cetera, and what what the actual executed contracts look like in real time, right? It's a summation of this information below, right? And I thought that was pretty easy to teach. What I found was it was pretty hard to teach, was the reality, right? Because to read all that number information, stay in flow, and then also I thought this was pretty easy to teach. It turned out it was pretty hard to teach, right? But a lot of really valuable information. Why? If you look at yesterday's where we were shorting, right? Where we were shorting, this is where we were shorting yesterday. This is exactly right. And what I said was, when we got, let me make sure I have my time frame right. Okay, when we got this bar over, you know what the problem is here? We need to reset this. By the way, for the guys who have the algo, I'm on a 6-tick range as opposed to an 8-tick range since the volatilities come in. Okay, and it makes a huge difference when it slows down. The numbers get re-auctioned over, and you can't see where the information's hiding. Okay, so this bar right here, this bar right here, that delta right there, that sell and balance right there, right? And what did I say yesterday? So this is beginning of the last, going into the 1 o'clock period, right? And I said that backside test at 26.97, right? 26.97. For where was the target? 26.91. And I had lots of reasons for that, but the biggest reason was that put us inside the first standard deviation in VWAP, which is why I was targeting that. And it put us back over here to these last high, to those last huge deltas off to the left. And it's natural that it wants to get retested. So what I found was this is very difficult for people to read on the fly and still make a decent trading decision and trust what they're looking at. They spend a lot of time trying to calculate the numbers and adding too much value to the information or not enough value to the information. So all of that gets summarized in the algo to 2 critical pieces of information, right? So the first critical piece of information I want to be outside. Everyone can see this? Yes? Okay. I want to be outside of this VWAP. Okay, see, this is a first standard deviation, second standard deviation. I want to be between, to execute my best trades, I want to be below this blue line or above this blue line, and then look for setups. Why do I want to do that? Okay, because I tend to, even if I'm in chop, those edges tend to get tested and provide fantastic trade location. This is where we were looking. So the original long yesterday was off the zone, which was right here, right? Already posted. That was an easy trade right out of the gate. I think almost everyone I spoke to got this long out of here for a roll. What was the original target? I've been posting it for 2 days. 26.82. We go right to 26.82. We balance, we balance, we balance. We can't break out. What's the market doing here, right? Look at that market big picture, right? Before you get bearish, which I saw people all over Twitter getting bearish yesterday, I had the ability to relax while I was taking care of my daughter, and I could actually peruse, right? So look at this right here. If you're going to be short, guess what you have to be? You have to be underneath that structure there to the left. You don't have anybody, nobody, zero, trapped. Think about it. If you went long, even right here, right? You went long even right here, and you're trading right here, you're kind of like, well, that sucks that it came back, but geez, I'm not below my entry price. I have no reason to sell, right? You got to motivate. You got to think when you're trading, not about your account and not about your opinion. You got to think about what's your opponent's opinion when you're trading, right? And your opponent, even if he sucked and got long at the very, very peak and managed to hold on all the way down to here, which is highly doubtful if he's a retail trader, right, is not nervous right here, right? He ain't going to hit the sell button quickly. Only the weakest hands are, right? He's going to go, they brought it back, but they haven't gotten below my price, so I don't care. And almost everybody from the last couple of days who's bought in here or anything lower has a better price than this, right? So what happened? As we spread that out, right? We chopped, right? No motivated sellers, and we didn't have enough energy to push higher. This is called building energy. When we chop like this, we're just handing off contracts to one another till we can all agree this is a fair price, right? Where's our high odds areas? So if you wanted to short, which I didn't yesterday, That was our upside target, and the 2682, that was the initial upside target, rejected down. No energy, inability to push up. So all the weak hands that accumulated through here, when we come down and they all go, oh my gosh, we broke balance. And guess where they broke balance into? Between the first and second standard deviation. Now, when you were looking at that, right, so this is important. We're going to look at two pictures of the same thing. When you're looking at that, what happened a couple of weeks ago? When we broke balance a couple of weeks ago, okay, when we broke balance a couple of weeks ago, this is what happened. Whoosh, right? It went down. Like there wasn't even a pause. Everybody and their brother was looking for this break, right? Maybe it consolidated for a second, and then it went whoosh, right? So guess what? Everyone gets conditioned to repeating the pattern, right? So they all went, oh, break. I'm going to short that because we're going to zero, right? Never mind that I'm between the second and third standard deviation. I don't care. I'm shorting anyways. Oh, we're back into the range right here. See this? Big green bar, right? Right back up to VWAP. Hold on, Peter. I can't see your comment because I can't operate a mouse competently. Cool. Thank you, Peter. Okay, so everyone comes in here, right? Pops in, and what happens? Oh, we didn't go lower, straight to VWAP, which I tweeted out, right, on the member stream, right? What happens here? We're back at VWAP. Chop, trying to establish a position here and hold it really hard because this chop right here, this chop encompassed an hour and a half. This chop right here encompassed another hour and a half. So someone asked an interesting question, right? Which was, they said, I went long at the low yesterday, but I missed the trend up. So this is an important concept, right? What you've done is you've built energy, you've shaken out all the weak hands, you've trapped back into range, and now you have to know this pattern is it, which is it's either going to come back and backside test if it's weak. It's going to come back and backside test IB low, which is this low right here. And then we find out it either comes back against VWAP or it breaks, right? Or if it can't retest IB low, you have all these guys trapped. You have shook out all the weak long hands. Now we start to slowly grind up. That's your breakout bar. Notice this is a 5-minute chart. Lack of any red bars that encompass or get below your last best buyer keeps you from getting run over. Also notice where we shorted yesterday afternoon on the backside test, what we were able to do, we were able to get underneath our last best buyer. You didn't even need the algo and everything else. You could just gone, I'm waiting to get below my last best buyer, right? So now let's go see what all that looked like in the algo. Okay. Again, I think we're going to 27.12. You can see the slow grind in. All the shorts are caught. And you can see the lack of counter rotation makes day trading hard, right? It'll loosen up. Even in summertime, it loosens up. Just all you have to do is wait, right? So hold on one second here. I know what I'm changing. So now, so we have this off to the left, right? We're looking at this. We're like, when am I in between the key area, right? Just like right now, I know if I get a reversal pattern up here, I'm between the first and second standard deviation. I also know that I have a potential grind up into where's resistance. 27.12 and I'm in the first 30 minutes. I'll just let it go, right? Now, if we look at the same chart from yesterday, right? We already know. Here's the morning. Let's erase all lines on this. Probably going to carry some stuff through off to the left. That's fine. Okay. Yesterday morning. There's Globex high, right? This is previous day's high right here, right? Here's 8:30 in the morning. Support was 75 to 77. This is on a 1.5 range bar, right? So we open up. Here's the 75 to 77. We push in, right? Look at when we push down in a bull market, okay? In a market that goes up, when you get the big negative delta print at the bottom, right? That is a sign of exhaustion. That's not the sign of a market starting to roll over, okay? That's a sign of people getting panicky and blowing out of the position at the low. And generally, when you see that, you want to start looking for your reversal pattern, right? So we obviously pushed up. Where do we push up to? There's a 2682-ish area, which you see we grind a little bit. We got within 2 ticks of the 2682, right? Again, we rolled up. This is 9 a.m. I'm usually not even active till after 9 a.m. We come back. So what do you, when you see this right here, see this right here? What do you know immediately? That is a picture of balance. In your head, you should be going, market's building energy. Market's going to make a move one way or the other, right? And then you got to stop and think. Who's in control overall? Have we been able, on any negative news over the last couple of days, to get any traction to the downside? Answer, no. So what do you want to see? You want to see a piece of news come out, good or bad, and actually have the market go down and stay down. That would be a clue that the environment has changed. Until then, expect responsive buyers below. Now, this is where it got tricky. If you took the 75, 77, you got repeated profits to the upside. You were able to get a one-to-one out of that trade location, and we've tested multiple times. We come across, we're balancing, balancing, balancing. You'll notice that we start to make lower highs all of a sudden, and then look what happens. So look at all the deltas through here. See all this? 326. We had a 1200 up here, right? But nothing big. And now all of a sudden you get the biggest negative delta of the morning, 1463. The orange outline on the bar tells you that you had high volume there, right? Okay. This is where, and then you'll see I tweeted. Here, I'm going to pull it up so everyone can just see it, right? Instead of all of this, go to my tweets. So while I'm holding Eden in my arms, I put in go. This has to be in the morning. What time is this? Okay, there we go, 8:12. Okay, so I put, this was at 8:12, so this is at 10:10, right? So if you look, because this is California time, right? So look what I wrote, and we can match the time up, right? Okay, this is 8:12. Is this 8:12 a.m.? Because it says it's 24 hours later. That had to be at 10:10. I did not put that at 8:12. I think this is posting on California time. Okay, so look what I wrote. So that's right here. Okay, that's when we're. This is what we're looking at right here. And look what I wrote. If you're a weak hand retail trader and shorted the break of IB low, this is IB low right here, right? You're praying we don't close back into range. Right here, close back into range. What you wanted was a whoosh down. Instead, you got to push into the first and second standard deviation. You're likely, sorry, my spell correct was just Siri guessed what I wanted to say, to get a push back to VWAP first, right? And then watch what it does. There's VWAP, right? So everyone who's shorted down here, the weakest hands already got clocked, right? And then I put right behind that, here comes all the long stop. Here comes all the long stops. No, we are pushing between the first and second deviations below VWAP. I wrote that. The next one goes, and there's your damn. I shorted the break. I have to cover move. This is where retail traders pull hair from head, right? Additionally, okay, so now so sorry once again. Siri was guessing grapes back in the balance, traps back into balance. Where's likely target? Should have been a question mark. Other side of range, perhaps backside test of 75 first for a little bear false hope, right? Now look where and so I put that time 8:22. That's right here, right? So notice what's happened. First of all, we've gotten the roll down. We're clearly above our 10 period. That's our second bar that's closed above with high volume, right? And now we have an 1147 positive delta, right? Biggest positive delta off the low, right? And the best positive delta from way back over here at 1030. See how the algo is doing the work for us? We don't have to go through and look at a million number bars. The algo is telling us. We have the little blue bar right here. It tells me there was no interest at the bottom of that bar, right? Now people are we're back to VWAP. Please, 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 I'm going to trade VWAP. Notice if I traded VWAP with a tight stop, that ranges from 79 to 76. You better have a 5-point stop. I don't know. Most people just are aghast that I would use a 5-point stop or a 4-point stop. I don't know any retail trader that's trading with a 5-point stop. Most of them are 2-point stop. And so this is, I can't wait for it to pull back. Stop, 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 stop. Notice we're over The purple line, that's the 30-period moving average. This, okay, is important for my trend traders, okay? It's not important to me. It's important to the trend traders because once you get over this, if you can hold above it, it's an indication that you can push up. What was the next thing that had to be broken? This is the 200-period moving average. I'm not going to go into details on which moving average it is or how I calculate it, but basically you'll notice that we slipped underneath and it became resistance up here at 80 to 82, which is where resistance was, right? We rolled down, we shook out every weak hand in here, and now we've got to get above here to get up. Now notice we came right to that 200-period moving average. You'll notice there keeps being high volume sellers right around or right underneath that 200-period trying to push down. This is everyone who just trades. This is everyone who just trades a moving average and has no idea what the hell it means. Okay? Everyone stopped. Now, this 2711, notice that is the single biggest positive delta on the day. So, for my guys who were asking yesterday, oh, sorry, I got to take this down. I apologize. For my guys who are asking yesterday, well, how do I capture trend day up, right? I'm a dip buyer, right? I trade contra and which way my bias is going, but that's your breakout bar. If you don't close below that 2711, that's where your trend day up starts, right? And now, if you remember the chart had no resistance above, I got to get rid of this, and this has to be off of this chart here. No, where's this coming from? Here. No. Who am I carrying this off of? Let's try this right here. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now let's just click over slowly. Okay. Notice the deltas. First thing you see, if you want to short, do you see any red bars there? None. Do you see any high negative deltas through there? None. Did you see a big breakout? Do you know what this is? 2711, 2572. Look at all the deltas back over here. This is people stumbling over one another to get into the market. This is shorts covering. This is people going, please, 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 we're going higher. What you are looking for here, guys, is not a short. You are trying to figure out if we can get some variation either from the breakout bar, if you're aggressive, you're looking for a 50-60 back or a big picture 50-60 back. That's a break of IB high. That's a classic pattern. Break of IB high, 50-60 back, long for a push to the upside, right? That's what you're waiting for. And Greg put this so succinctly. I was talking to Greg, who's primarily an oil trader, but he's like, here's the problem with most retail traders. Now, understand, Greg actually really makes his living off his trading, right? He trades 2 to 4 hours a day. He sits there and he watches patiently. And he goes, and I got to probably give a tip of the hat to Peter, although they're different style traders, right? But he goes, hey, if you miss the break, you may have to wait 2 hours to get another setup, right? If that's a threat to your existence as a trader, there's a problem, right? You may have to sit there for 2 hours and go, I'm going to have to wait till I get through this cycle, shake out some weak hands, and give me an entry long, which, by the way, didn't come till the very end of the day at 26.91, which gave you a rotation where to where we are right now at 27.08, if you could hold overnight, kept you from getting run over. But what's the next thing I want to see? I want to see a heavy negative delta. What's that defined as? Heavier than what's generally floating around the area I'm trading in, right? So notice this, 25.72, 1800, 27.11. Here's my first sell bar, 16.16. Guess what the two things that are occurring here? Number one, I can't close below that bar. I got a temporary sell, and then I couldn't close in. Why would you short this? You're going to short this because you think we're going to shoot straight back here. What's the odds of that happening? Low. Why? Because the heavy deltas tell you that people are chasing in, and we're not in a mega volatile market, right? So at a minimum, and I spoke to someone in the room, obviously I'm not going to mention their name because there's no point to it. This was a yellow zone, and what I wrote in that yellow zone was that this is not a location from TPO that is generally served as a point of support resistance area, but there's nothing on the TPO. The TPO, you have to know, that's my highest order of higher time frame support resistance areas. Number two, I'd like to get underneath that seller if that guy's legit. And number three, He meets me with a 1616 against an 1804, a 2572, and a 2711, right? So I know a bunch of things. First of all, in order to truly be short, I need to get underneath all these guys, right? Because they all are emotionally, financially, and psychologically invested in this market pushing higher. They are looking for a breakout. They poured a lot of volume in there, right? If you want to see what that looks like in the number bar, here, let me show it to you. Not that one, not that one. I think it's over here. Here you go. There's that same time frame. Look what they're tagging on top. Okay, so come back over here. I want you to show you this. 450 on top, 24, 49, 65, 91, 27, 10, 25, 91, right? 477. 477 is about the highest, right? Now look what's happening over here. 1785 prints. 1017 prints. 1012 and a 1206. That's market orders for over 1,000 ES contracts. That's a lot of dinero people are throwing around, right? You're not going to scare me. I'm not throwing that kind of money at the market without defending it. I'll tell you that right now, right? So see how they come back? Look at what they're selling on the bottom. 34 contracts, 175 contracts. Where's your seller, right? Now let's come back over here, right? And let's scoot a little bit further over. 2593, 2588. Is there a reason for me to short yet? The only reason for me to short is if I have a psychology that says, well, it can't go any higher, right? There's no way it can keep going. Well, actually, there is. Again, no negative delta, and we can't get underneath our last seller, right? Okay, there's the first possible attempt. What are they meeting with? A 1440, 1375. And guess what you can't get underneath? You can't get underneath your 1620. I got to get underneath this guy to have any chance. And really, these two guys right here. So remember yesterday when I said 2590, if you're looking for a long, once we got above, this was the neighborhood you were looking to get long in. Let's keep cruising along, right? Notice that we just came in. We can't get underneath them. So if you're a momentum trader and you're looking for continuation, that was your continuation entry. That's not me. I don't trade like that. I'm never going to call a trade out that says long 25.90 when we're up 20 points on the day. But if you want to be a momentum trader, that's what you're looking for. Sideways consolidation. Can't get past your last best buyers. If we can't get past them, we're probably going to continue up. Up, up, up. Notice big deltas coming in again, right? And here we are, 1228. Is it short yet? Nope. You can't get underneath anybody. You can't get short. And then lo and behold, I was actually, I think I actually came back into the room. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I came back into the room and I said, 36.15 just printed. Here, you want to see what that looks like on the other bars? Here you go. 36.15 just printed. That should match up on time. Let's see this really quick. There's your 36.15. Notice 955 contracts printed at the very top there. Do you see that? 359, 332, 243, 178, 331, 398. Someone said, God, I can't miss. We're at 2,700. We're going to 2,800. I need everything in now. Please give me 955 contracts at the market, please. And they filled them. And then they took it up. This guy's printing. He's like, we're going to 2708. I know it, right? No way they're going to smoke me. Now think about who you are. You just took that print. What's your stop? Because I know my stop is not 10 points when I'm printing the high of the day. Okay, now let's go look and see what happens. And remember, 2691 is my area of interest, approximately. I have it marked off down here. And I now know I need to get underneath this guy. I want to close underneath here, and I want to specifically close in two areas. I want to get underneath. I'm looking at the number bar from our more advanced traders. I want to get underneath 2698, right? And I need to close below 2697.50. And then I'm going to do something else. These are my last two top bars. I'm going to take a profile if I really want to be cute. And I notice that my point of control comes in at 2699.50. Okay. Now, I come back over here. And I have now closed underneath this last buyer. So think about it. If you just printed 1,000 contracts at the top, right? Huge positive delta. Everyone in this bar was a buyer. And we just closed underneath you because you thought it was going to 2708. And you're now looking at 2697 and a quarter. What are you thinking now? Because that's what your opponent is thinking. So I want you to think, and the market's not moving, so I don't care about, this is not my trade. I don't care. meaning the market's grinding. We're in 2-point rotations. I'll wait till the market opens up or gives me a print I can trade. Okay, so now think about this. If this is you and you printed right here, just ask yourself, what's your stop? Because your stop, you most likely fall into variance of 80% of the trading world, both professional and non-professional, which is I didn't just buy 1,000 contracts at $27.99 for it to go to $27.91. Bottom line, right? So now watch as it's coming along. Wow. Now here's two traders. If you waited over here for a red bar, remember if you got stopped over here, if all you had to do, if you wanted to be aggressively short, you just wait on that bar, which never appeared over here, to get underneath, and you wanted to get underneath at least this guy, which never happened, right? Now it did happen. You could simply short that with a stop right on top. Nothing wrong with that. That was roughly a entry at 26.9650, and you got immediately paid, right? Or what I think was the better trade was you just simply waited for the backside test. Approximately, I like to front run it by 2 to 3 ticks, hence the 97, 97.50, right? Consolidation, everyone comes back at it. Notice, everyone thinks, hey, we're going higher. I'm going to bust this guy. But remember, if you just printed all those contracts up here, what are you thinking? You're like, God, get me out of it. I just took 7 points of heat on this trade, right? Come in. There's my first seller. Come in again, test that point of control. There's my next seller. No momentum. There's your big deltas coming out again. 1095. Notice no big deltas on the push in, right? They're going to test one more time. They're going to try again, right? Because the momentum's to the upside. And now we're going to come back and we're going to come right down to that 26.91, which is what the target was. And I said if you wanted a long, 26.91 is where you were looking because it was coming back and testing these buyers back over here to the left. It's exactly what we came back and tested. Hence, why if you waited patiently, you got the biggest delta push and you could wait for the backside test and you could risk not letting these guys just do this, which by the way, on occasion it will, right? So if you're uber aggressive, you just want to short that bar with the stop above. If you're patient, you want to wait for the backside test over here. Either way, they're both high odds trades. This is very common, right? And you end up with great longs and great shorts. Here's what I find most interesting in Traderland. When you show this stuff, so most professional traders who are real traders actually really making money on a scalping basis intraday, they're not looking at this. They're looking at this. This is the information they're working off of intraday. Okay, they are not working off of a 5-minute bar. They're not looking at a general support. They're working this information. The benefit to me of this algo, which was designed for me, and I share it with y'all, but it was designed for me, is it surmises and tells me where the buyers and where the sellers are, okay, and tells me who I'm looking to backside test, okay? So if you have to have the mindset, if you have to have the mindset of we're either going straight up or going straight down, this is not for you, right? If you have the mindset of I have to be very specific with my entries and exits, and I have to be willing to let the market tell me what it wants to do, not what I want to do, what it wants to do. And then you play along with it as you would anything else in the world, right? Give you a great example. You walk to a river, Mississippi River, let's take it, right? Let's say, right? There's not many people that look at the Mississippi River and go, geez, I want to jump in and swim to the other side. Why? You can freaking see the currents if you've ever stood by its banks just ripping through the river, and you go, man, I'm probably going to drown if I jump in that, right? So not many people go, I don't give a damn about the current. I'm just going to go. They go, forget that. I'm not jumping in, right? But you may get to a nice, gentle, floating stream and go, might be kind of cool to float on that. I'll get my tube, right? Like we have lots of little rivers here in Texas. I'll get my tube, going to grab my beer, throw the tube in the water, grab my cooler, throw it on one of the tubes, and I'm going to float down casually with my friends. So there's not many people tubing the Mississippi. There's plenty of people tubing down rivers throughout Texas. Okay, why? Because they're gentle and they just kind of flow nice and easy, right? What are those people really doing? They're working with the natural energy in the market. What is this telling you? This is telling you where energy is being expanded, at what rate it's being expanded, and where you have people trapped. And instead of getting emotional about whether the market's going up or down, just look at it in a real-time fashion. The TPO is already telling you a lot of information, and then this is telling you the rest of the information. So we have some pretty good gauges, right? So let's go to what we're actually looking at this morning. Number one, we're between the first and second, standard deviation, right? This is generally where you find sellers. This is on a 5-minute chart to make it easy, right? So I know I've got to get underneath one of these guys. My last best sellers here, I like to backside test them. I got to get underneath them. I can come in and look at the deltas here, right? And so this is based on workflow. So usually, unless I want to take a close look at those number bars, I have it like this. This is my reminder. I want to be short up here. I'm looking for longs down here if this comes up with the information. And now I'm looking through the course of the day. Here's where we open to make it easy to denote. There we go. There's the open. Okay, so first let me look at the deltas. I got 12.18. Now I had it down 13.10 on the push up. The first thing I'm looking at is, well, not much range, right? 27.03 to 27.08. If you remember just a couple weeks ago, we were having 10, 15.5 minute bars, right? We clearly don't have 10, 15 minute, 5-minute bars. The next thing I'm going to notice just from overnight, which is pretty easy to see here, is I'm trending up. It would be maybe nice. Let's change the color on that. It might be nice to get underneath that little uptrend that's been going on since 7:30 this morning, maybe longer. I haven't drawn it out there that far, but at least it might be nice to get underneath that. What would I might like to see that do? I might like to see that go like this. Backside test, then get a sell bar for a possible push down if I'm bearish, right? Because if I'm shorting this right now, everyone else can see that trend line. There's no secret to it. And we've been getting buyers off of it. I know I got to get underneath. So my biggest positive delta through here after the open is this 12.18 and now this 15.19. See that? Those are guys stepping in and buying. What are they looking for? Well, they're all looking for the same thing I'm looking for, 27.12. Pretty easy to see that, right? If you are, so I want to go back to someone in the room yesterday asked, if you are I didn't get the trend yesterday, right? I didn't get the trend. I got the low, someone said, but I didn't get the trend, right? Well, guess what you have to be willing to do? For all the guys bragging on, you see everyone go bragging on Twitter going, boom, I bought the low and I caught the high. You have to be willing to sit through this. If you constitutionally cannot sit through it, which, by the way, I fall in that category the majority of the time, especially after multiple days up, I'm not going to sit through this. It has to give me a great entry, right? If I have to, right, if I have to be the one to sit through all that, I'm probably missing most trend days up. It's got to rip for me to capture the trend day, okay? Next, importantly, I now have my biggest positive delta on the day. Guess what? There's one here, and now there's one here. Notice they're almost identical, so I'm going to just summarize it to this. I now have a strategic entry to get short. I want to get underneath 27.05, right? Where am I likely to come back to? I'm going to test my last overnight swing low, which occurred at 6:01 a.m. at 26.96, which I believe, if we go back to the chart, is already a support area. Right. There we go. There's the swing low. There's the white zone. That's where I'm looking for a long. And then lastly, when I look at charts and it's doing this is NQ, by the way, right, in ES, and I see it whipping back and forth as it is right now, I know I get emotional personally, and I take a boatload of stops trying to guess which way it's going to go, right? But when I come back to this, and I just go, I ask myself a couple questions. Do I have faith that this works? Do I have evidence? I haven't had, I think, a losing trade on high delta backside tests in weeks, okay? I haven't gotten a lot of them, but I haven't had a losing trade on them either, okay, on backside tests. Okay, that's not to say I haven't had any losing trades. I have. I haven't had any losing trades on that particular setup, right? Okay, so number one, I have a way of solving my problem. Now, number two, I'm going to go through everything that I deal with when I'm coaching people one-on-one. I had to make money today, and it's already the first 30 minutes, and I couldn't find a trade. Well, who gives a shit? So you couldn't find a trade. Guess what? The market's going to set up. It may set up at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe after London low. I don't trade this very well, right? So if you're going to go, boom, I bought 27.05 for 27.08, tip of the hat to you. I hate trading this crap, right? This is just chop, chop, chop. They're just trading the structure from pre-market. That's weak structure generally. Why? Because it's pre-market, right? So I don't have anything there. But now I do have a clue. If I can get below this guy, I pretty much know I have a break to test back into 27.95. And that would be a pretty good trade. 27.05 to 27.95 is 5 to 10 points. Now I have a likely target below. I have a trigger that has to occur to get in, right? I know that I'll have trapped buyers. And what I would really, really, really like is to get this same big print up here at 27.12. And my guess is we're trapping people, right? And what's going to happen if you're a momentum trader is you're going to wait for a break above at 27.09. Guess what? It's not that brilliant because you're going to slam into an open gap at 27.12. You're going to have to know ahead of time whether we can make it through, right? And then what's that going to look like? Once we get to 27.12, we're now going to have to get past this structure underneath, backside test it, and then that'll set us up for a move back to 27.95, and then we'll start the whole process again. And when I get to 27.95, guess what I know? I'll be between the first and second standard deviation up there, right? And that's what will set me up for a possible test back to VWAP, because we constantly go back to VWAP. From 27.95 would put us right on the edge here. VWAP, if we got to 27.95, would probably be 2700 to 2701 at that point. Backside test, and then if we're going to go in re-auction areas below, that'll probably happen later in the day. Also, when we have so much momentum to the upside, it usually takes a couple hours to convince everyone that you're screwed, that you just printed the high. And we're going to have to get those people convinced to sell and relinquish, right, and roll back to the downside. And it'll take a little while to convince them of that. And right now, our gatekeeper is that blue bar right there, is our gatekeeper. Until then, my assumption would be, until we get underneath that, is that we're going to 27.12 and all is well in the world for the longs, right? So that's how you break that down. And if you took the 3 key trades from yesterday, first touch into support, the break of IB low that trapped the sellers and the trap back in, and if you the 27.97 short for 27.91, cumulatively they were worth, let's say you were 2 and 4 point trader, right? Those were each worth 2 and 4 points. So let's say it's an average of 3. 3 times 3 trades is 9 points in a day. 9 times 5 is $450 a contract. Is that right? 9 times 5 is 45. I'm dyslexic and horrible at math. I think that's $450 a contract. It is, right? And that's then multiplied by the number of contracts you can reasonably trade, okay, and are comfortable with on your risk basis. But even for a one contract trader, if you average 3 points a trade, that's a good RR, right? Now notice, I may be potentially moving underneath here, so I have 2 choices here. If I close underneath my 15.19, I can just short it, right, with the stop 1 point behind here, right? So if this bar closes right here, let me spread that out. Right? As we come down here, right, I have 1 of 2 choices. If I simply close behind this guy, I know I'll have all these guys trapped. So now I have to make some trading decisions. Let's go discuss those trading decisions. I personally, if we see how we came down, looked like we were going to break, but we didn't break, right? I want to see it actually close behind this guy. I can actually put a line right there. Just put it like that. Okay, I want to see a bar close below 27.05 and a quarter. I may want to actually make sure it's a 5-minute bar instead of a 1.5 range bar, but I want to see it close come hell or high water below 27.05 and a quarter. I know I've got people trapped. On a high delta, even better, right? Number 2, I would like to, on that 27.05 close below, not see us trade back above 27.50. That would be my stop on that trade. Now, what's the problem with that? You could come back and tag above 27.09 and still roll back down. Notice, by the way, that we still have not closed underneath that 15.19 delta. There's another strong delta. Guess what? People are trying to buy this for a push to a breakout. That 27.12 should be acting as a magnet. That's where we should go. I just don't have a long setup to take, right? Because I don't buy in this crap. So if I get underneath here, I'll short it, right? But I'm going to have to push down into this area over here to get long. That's me. That's how I work, okay? So if I get underneath here, I can do multiple things. I can either short half size and then the other half for a backside test in case it rips down. I can take this trade. If it rips down, cover it, hope for the backside test to enter the trade, right? And then the last thing I want to do just to get really cute is look from here to here. My point of control is back at 27.08. So the problem with my 27.0750 is it puts me right in front of that volume point of control. So the true stop is 1 point behind that 27.09. There's not many people who are going to put a 5-point stop on a 5-point range, including me, right? So what this would have to do to work perfectly for me is it'd have to get below, and then I'd have to look for the backside test is probably how I'm going to do it because it's so choppy, right? I'm going to look for the backside test or the push back up, and then I'm going to look for continuation. And then my target is 26.95 below, which is the white zone, if that happens. If we don't get below this, I'm going to assume we're going to go up to 26.12. And right now, while we're in this, there's absolutely nothing for me to do. I don't feel like I've missed anything. The point being is if you'll trust the process that you're trading and you'll figure out which type of trader you are, you'll get paid over and over again. That's that. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Let's get to work. It's after 9 o'clock. There's unfortunately absolutely nothing for me to do. NQ's up 33. What you're going to find is we're going to stop ripping those 40 points, by the way, on NQ. I'll look at that chart really fast. And you can see we're just net on. That's a 5-minute bar. I was like, something's wrong with that. There's really no, I don't have anything here. It really has a lot of room to run. So it's going to have to set up its own trade. Guys, the rules are basically the same on NQ in the dome, right? Hold on a sec. Okay, guys. So at any rate, that is my 2 cents. Nothing's going on as from my perspective that I need to be overly active in trading. Again, I'm looking to get underneath. Let me erase all this crap. Yes. Erase my profile. I want to be underneath this guy right here. If I do, that is my key. That is my key to get short. I would expect a backside test. I need at least a 1.5 range bar to close underneath. And what's the problem? I'm going to run into VWAP. So if you can't short within VWAP, don't take this trade would be my suggestion, right? Or wait for it to push down, then get a backside test back up against this area after it closes underneath would be my suggestion. And odds are we're just going to exhaust somewhere in here and roll down hard. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. I don't have anything else to say. There's your close underneath.
Order filled.
And as you can hear, I shorted it. So that's my 2 cents. So what I did was I took half. I'm going to take the other half on a backside test back into this area right here, right? And then I'm going to look for a roll down, and my ultimate target is 27.95. That's what I am looking for to the downside, okay? Excuse me, I said 27.95. 26.95 is my target back to the downside. So that was my setup. I was waiting to get below. The only thing I broke here is I'm inside the first and second standard deviation, but I had to get underneath this guy to shake people out, and now we've done that. So I'm now looking for a push back in. So that's my 2 cents about that. And you can see it fell off pretty damn quickly there, which is why I'm waiting for the backside test to go to full size. And now I should be able, as long as I can hold underneath this guy, right, I should be able to get 26.95, retest that entry. NQ is not falling apart is the only issue there, but show the algo screen. There you go. Here's my right. I'm going to move this over so I can just watch it on another screen. And there you are. Again, these bars are set to 1.5. Notice we're slamming right into VWAP, right? So I expect it to get some kind of response there. And again, my stop is where? Everyone knows if I get stopped, right? So there's 27.50, 26.0750 stops me out on the trade. and I'm sitting right at that 27.05 and a quarter to 27.0550 for the balance of this trade. First, we'll test the daily low. I have to get underneath the VWAP. Then I intend to test down. Thanks, Clint. Which one do you think we should take? Can you give me a specific call? Let's just mark it down. Because I don't have time to go through that chart. I know you grabbed the screenshot of it. Yes, that's where I would think we're going to go to. Assuming we don't get stopped. This actually isn't ideal. I wouldn't initiate the option unless we were way out here just in setup. But it's good to keep track of it. I need to make sure I get that stretch to take the options. So we're looking at the 270 puts at 71 cents that expire tomorrow. Let's see. So let's just say we would take 71 cents, $500, let's say. So let's just say five at 71 cents. It's a paper trade in this particular case, and we'll see where those end up pushing us. Obviously, obviously the options trades are a all or none proposition, and I would not take it here. I have to be outside of that first and second deviation to initiate the position. And we're coming for a backside test of that 27.05. So there would be my fill, 05, 05 quarter, 05.50 would be my second leg, which is now in, right? And then I have a stop at 27.0775. And if you want to be very conservative, it's 1 point above the swing high, but I'm not willing to take that stop in this range, so we'll go from there. So I am now full size on this trade. Let's just call it 27.05 average cost. So the stop will be 2 and 3 ticks. 2 and 3 ticks. 2 points, 3 ticks. The most conservative stop is 1 point above. It's too big for me to take. So what is that? Tick is neutral. Again, the location is not ideal because we're inside that first or second, so I expect it to chop around here for a little bit. And guys on YouTube, I forgot to cut the YouTube off. I will leave that up. Excuse me, I'm going to end the YouTube broadcast, but I will post the results in the room. And if I get stopped, I get stopped. That's just kind of how it goes. We're back inside Globex high, by the way, also worth noting. And again, I expect to get stopped on some of my trades. Manage your risk and make sure, don't follow me blindly, learn how I trade, right? So anyways, thank you all for joining on YouTube. Guys, I'm obviously going to stay in the room.